Go live, people. It's 11.
Hello, my babies. Hey, everybody.
Just getting ready.
What's up?
Setting up here.
Forgot to hit live.
Nice. That's Carmela's ravioli. Carmela's lasagna recipe.
Hold on, with the basil on top? That's Carmela's recipe. What are you talking about? Janice can't cook. Why do I know every line from that show? Any scene, every line, I know. And I haven't watched it that many times.
I know. Matt Pranos is destined to. It'll happen.
It's gonna happen.
Hold on. Let me fix your audio. You're very low on my end. Video's falling apart.
I don't know why. I don't know why your video falls apart. You know what? How far are you from the router?
I'm like 6 feet from the router right now.
Is there any possibility you could do an Ethernet connection?
Oh, I don't have an Ethernet cable, and this is a MacBook Pro, so that's like a no-no, right?
No. I think you have an Ethernet. 2015 MacBook Pro, right?
Yeah. There's nothing. No.
There's no Ethernet? Okay. No. I will get you one, and I will send it to you. I'll get you the Ethernet cord, and I'll get you that. And then I want to start doing... You saw that test I did with the webcam, right?
That looked awesome.
Okay. So that works.
I'm going to show you what I got. Oh, your video.
It might be also that I have like a million windows open right now.
That could be it, actually.
That might be the reason. Yeah.
Let's close out everything because you look much better now.
Okay, hold on. Not our window. Okay. There we go. Is that better?
Yeah, much better.
Cool.
Yeah, your video looks really good right now.
Okay. I'm going to show you what I got. Hold on.
This guy's going to come out with a fucking giant floppy dong right now.
I got one of these.
All right.
Yeah, I got that's.
So the way.
So what you do, you have one of these, right? Do you have it with the mount?
Let me send you a picture right now.
Do you have it with the mount?
So this, I just sent you a picture. This is what I'm doing. Yeah, I have the mount. There we go.
You know, there's a... Do you have Skype by any chance?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
May want to try something. I mean, you're fine for now.
Sure.
It looks fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Sure. Whatever you want.
So this one has a mount for this. Has a camera mount. So what I did, you just mount it on, and you can take this back. It just connects via USB.
Oh, cool. Mine just plugs in, and it has the mount for the camera.
No, via USB, and it has a switch, so I could do different color. Like I could do more orange, more, you know, the Calvins I could adjust. And the phone connects to the computer, right? So you got to have this app called Cameo Studio running on the computer and running on your phone. So you run both, and now your computer sees the iPhone as a camera. And it's stellar, dude. If you're talking about comparing it to a webcam, phenomenal. I mean, it's obviously it's not a $2,000 camera, but it's a $1,000 camera. It's up there. All right,
awesome.
Babies. All right, my babies. Let me get Richard's audio up.
I'm ready. Are you ready? Got a nice little how do you do today?
Me? What do you mean?
No, I'm saying like as far as like the show goes, and we're having Rocky on in an hour.
Yeah, so what we're going to do, guys, in the chat, before we hit live, we're going to record, we're going to have regular Mattman now, and then we're going to have Rocky Romero on at noon to talk about the current state of wrestling, everything they're doing with Gallows and Anderson, talking shop, the return of the show, New Japan, all that stuff. I think it's going to be a really interesting interview because the last time he was on, he was phenomenal. And why did I shift? I don't understand why I'm shifting. I don't know if it's my camera
What, your dipper?
or me. I don't know if it's me or the camera shifting. I'm going to have to save this profile again.
Is the construction in your backyard shaking the house?
Dude, I think so. It's so bad right now.
They're just drilling into the side of your house at this point.
They are actually, literally. I mean, that's funny you say that. They literally are drilling on the side of the house.
What are you building back there? This is when you're building your underground bunker?
Yeah, that's it. I'm ready. It's gonna happen. The Armageddon's happening. All right. Let me.
You're getting a lot of hair compliments right now.
Thank you. I haven't even looked at the chat, so I don't know who's doing it because I'm doing 500 things right now. Sorry, guys. We're gonna start. So, Mattman, you want to do a quick one today?
Yeah, you want to do like 45 minutes, and then we'll prep Rocky and bring him on?
Perfect. Do you want to do...
Cool.
We'll do live with Rocky this time.
Sure, yeah, whatever you want to do.
I got to talk to you about something I'm working on right now.
I'm the easiest person you know, probably.
So, I'm working on something right now, Rich. There's a lot of interest in the show going on the radio here in New York again.
Very nice.
I'm working on it. So, it would be a Saturday 1 p.m. show, though. That's what they want, with callers.
Oh, I'd love that.
You could do that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I it's still so early.
I don't think
so
you listen to me when I talk to you.
I know. No, but I know. But it's just Saturday. You know what I mean? I don't want to take away a Saturday.
Easy, man. I'm like the easiest person in the world. If
You
we're
are.
gonna do the show on Saturday, I'm not gonna be like, no, Andrew, it has to, like we can do a Saturday show with callers. I'm fine with that. From the studio or
from the studio, because
unknown. Cool.
No, because we have a phone system. We have a better system than most stations. Wow, my ear just went deaf. Holy moly! Whoa, that's a weird buzz in my head. All right, you ready?
All right, dude. Let's
do
it.
this, my ultimate baby. All right, boys and girls. Let me just tweet out one more time that we're live. I haven't told anybody. I'm getting a lot of news right now, by the way.
Ooh, how about nudes?
No nudes, but news. Send us your nudes. Mattman is live. Come join us and chat. All right. I'm getting a lot of news from a very good source right now.
Ooh. Sexy news?
Sexy nudes. All right. You guys ready? Who's ready? First of all, what's everybody's reggae today? Before we go on with the show, before we start, I need everybody's reggae posted in the chat. Bam, 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 fire away. Ready? Let's do this. 3, 2. Let me fix your audio again. Your audio's still low. Let me get a mic check.
Check.
Okay, Kayfabe Chronicles, he's a 9.6. Jonathan, a 72. You know what I love about this? We've never said how the scale of reggae works. So it's all over the place. Some people are in it's like a 1 to 5 scale. Some goes to like a bajillion.
Yeah.
So Kayfabe
I'm in
Chronicles,
the thousands.
9.6. Jonathan, 72. Living Large, 23. 69, dude. Kevin, 2.7. Bachelor, 3000. 49. Crown Wolf, a 420 on this Thursday. Shin, 8.5. My reggae is 100 over 78 for Hothead.
It's your blood pressure.
That's your blood pressure, dude. You're dying. You're dead. 42 here for Mountain Man. Canadian Mountain Man? Is that what it stands for? CDN? Canadian? Yes. All right. You be doing this? Let's do it. In 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Mattman, your source for all things professional wrestling. I'm Andrew Zarin. Of course, I'm joined by the beast of all beasts, Rich Stambolian.
Roar.
What's going on?
The weakest response to that intro. Nothing, man. How you doing? I see you got the energy today. With
I'm pumped.
Are they unearthing parts of your soul in the backyard because you're really an Anunnaki? Is this an archaeological dig that's happening in your house,
dude? You know what we find? We're finding arrowheads all over the yard.
Uh-oh.
I have like 6 arrowheads that we found.
What if you found like an underground temple in your backyard?
I swear to you. I have no proof of this, right? No proof. But I'm 100% convinced that there is an Indian burial ground on my property.
That explains a lot.
100%. Because I got to tell you something. About 25 years ago, my neighbor was doing the whole thing, digging and doing stuff. They found bones in the yard.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because he faces the park, right? And this whole thing was, it was Native American ground, so It's interesting. So I'm finding arrowheads and stuff, but I do believe that the spirits are getting released at this point, and they're entering me. I have become one with the earth, and that's why I'm so pumped today to do the show.
Awesome.
We got a very nice compliment from somebody. Somebody emailed me and said the first time they found the show, and they were blown away on how fun wrestling could be as far as like talking about it. They had never heard a wrestling podcast before, and they absolutely fell in love with the show. So I got to get this guy's name. I think it's Raj. I got to find it. But thank you for that. So, guys, this is the show all about professional wrestling. We've been doing this for almost nearly 10 years of doing the show. Generally, a lot of our viewers are podcast form because we've been doing this for 10 years before we started doing this on YouTube. If you have not subscribed to the podcast, please do us the favor. Go to gfknetwork.com or go to anywhere you get your podcasts. Spotify, iTunes. Now it's Apple Podcasts. Google, wherever you listen to podcasts. Search Mattmen. Find us, subscribe to us. It helps us. The more you subscribe, the better the show does. Also here on YouTube, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and it's a big help for us. We're on our way to 4,000 subscribers here on YouTube. You know what really screwed us with this? So the problem, somebody messaged me like, how come your subscribers are so low on YouTube? That's because we were idiots, and we were putting everything on the GFQ main feed for solo. So all our shows were on the GFQ feed because we never thought about monetizing YouTube or doing anything because our model is more radio-based.
Right.
And in about 2015 or 2016, we split everything, and we had to start all over. And we did lose a lot of viewers, but this is our focus now. We're, subscribe. Where do you want to begin today, Rich? Oh, sorry.
Can I touch on that for a second?
Yeah, do it.
It's funny because and again, like not to poo-poo on anybody, but I will a little bit. It's funny because like sometimes I'll watch like the some of the trending wrestling videos, and I'm like, this dude looks like he's coming to you live from like a Splinter Cell bunker in the middle of a desert. Yeah. Then he's covered in shoeboxes, and this video had 100,000 views, and this guy's got like 50,000 subscribers. Yeah. And I'm always like, I think we're a little snazzier than this guy who's covered in spiderwebs. Yeah.
What do you got? Listen,
we're
great.
That's my little thought.
We're better than Spiderweb Man. That's fine. I agree with that. That assessment is 100% correct. So today we have a jam-packed show for you guys. If you listen to the podcast, there's going to be two parts that come out to this week's episode. This is the first part. We're going to talk about all of this week's pro wrestling news. We're going to do our mailbag at the end of the show. It's going to be a little shorter. It's going to be about 45 minutes of the show. But, however, at noon, if you're watching live, if you're not, this is going to be released tomorrow. If you're listening to this, Rocky Romero, New Japan Pro Wrestling star, professional wrestling superstar, Rocky Romero is going to be on from Talking Shop, from New Japan, to talk about the current state of pro wrestling and everything he's been up to during this crazy time. We're going to talk about, Gallows and Anderson doing a podcast again, how that's going for him. So stay tuned. We got a lot going on today. If I could have incorporated phone calls today, I would have done it. Today's going to be a fun show. Let's talk about what happened on Monday. WWE's getting ready for SummerSlam, obviously. And there's a lot of news surrounding this. Last week, they officially canceled Boston. They were going to do it in Boston still. I think they just held the deposit. They knew they weren't doing it. But they have been searching for a location. What I'm hearing is that there was a big call done within the last couple days between people that would be on that call. I don't want to say who it was, but people, the guys that you would assume. And Vince is expressing his frustration with not being able to find a venue that would want to host them or a location that would want to host them.
Right.
So the Performance Center might be it. I was always told it was the Performance Center when they originally were saying SummerSlam was going to get canceled because they knew it was going to be very difficult to find a large building to do this in, other than Florida. But now Florida's getting destroyed. Texas is getting destroyed. A lot of these states that were doing very well, Arizona, California, states that were maintaining are not in great shape right now. So they had figured out that maybe they should do an outdoor venue. And I made the joke online. I think Sean Ross Sapp tweeted this, and I made the joke, and I said, you know what would be great if there was ever a time to do a bash at the beach, this is it.
Absolutely.
I don't know if that's the plan. Now, that was a joke that I made. I know that they played with this idea when was it that they did the Hawaii trip? Do you remember that? Years ago.
I think that was like 3 years ago.
I believe Nakamura was there because they were going over to Japan. There was rumbling that they would do a Bash at the Beach around that time. I got to dig through some of these archives because I have some of these notes in the emails. But they had considered it. So, but man, what a great opportunity. SummerSlam, you could do a Bash at the Beach type thing, limited. You could limit it tremendously. But the problem is municipalities don't want this to take place because how are they going to regulate people just walking up?
Right. I think, like people, and I've said this to you for months that, apart from statistics and all the stuff that's going on now, there's the variable of what I like to call the gross factor, where it's the people who can't follow the rules that you have to worry about, but you never know who, much like the virus, you never know where it's going to pop up and who it's going to be.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I got 2 words for you as far as a perfect venue to host SummerSlam.
Where?
Citi Field.
Citi Field, man. Love it. I would love that.
Yeah.
I would love that. But now, they're in the same mess. Unfortunately for them, they're in the same mess again because baseball's in play. The conversation of Citi Field has come up thousands of times. The concept of an island is not out the it's not out the as a question or an opportunity for them. That would probably be the best thing to do is go on an island, have a small group of people, have your staff be in the audience, whatever, and that's how you do it. And you shoot it aesthetically. The whole event will be based on the aesthetics and less of the story, because it's going to be very difficult to build great matches. When you're really not putting in 100% effort. But I think this may reinvigorate things if they do something unique here. I've said for a long time, the venue that they're in is really stale.
100%.
They got to figure it out. So there's a lot of options here. I'm going to go down these notes. Sorry, Rich, really quick.
No.
And then we'll touch on it because this is all fresh. So some of the stuff I'm not going to go into because I have not verified it. But there's a lot of moving parts right now with this. I don't know. Listen, we saw what happened here in New York, right? In the Hamptons with the Chainsmokers concert. It was a charity event. It was a $2,500 per person event in the Hamptons for a very limited audience. And it got totally out of hand because people found out that there was an event in the Hamptons and everybody went. And there's no, how are you going to regulate, 2,000, 3,000 people coming into the event, coming to this outdoor event? You can't. And it was an utter disaster. Now, we don't know if people are going to, utter disaster as far as controlling how many people come in. Now, whether or not people are going to get sick, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But this is a bizarre situation for them where nobody wants to really host them. What do you think they're going to end up doing? You think the Performance Center?
Honestly, I think the last thing they want to do is the Performance Center. Obviously, it's an option and it's a viable option, but like you said, like it is looking stale as F, right? And like SummerSlam is supposed to be like a big 4 pay-per-view.
Yeah.
WrestleMania wasn't feeling it. I thought WrestleMania was fun. Wasn't feeling it at the Performance Center.
But was it fun because we did a watch along, or was it fun because you actually enjoyed the event?
A little of both, but mostly I think it was 70-30 doing the watch along. And then the 30% was like, it's still wrestling. It's fun. So like, I do think that they could do the island thing easily. Maybe Vince could talk to Dana White, try to get out there on Fight Island.
Go to Abu Dhabi.
Go somewhere else, like somewhere even more exotic for a day, and host it. Like something cool. But again, WWE doesn't do cool, right? We've kind of established that they do frantic at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I there's a lot of moving parts here, but there's a lot of concern because it will start affecting. Listen, their ratings for Monday all-time low again. Terrible, right? Another low number. Drew is unfortunately and something out of his hands. He's turning into probably in this modern era, probably he's a dud because there's nothing he could really do. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying he's a dud in the sense that he's not performing well, he's not good. I'm saying because of the current climate, his reign is really tainted as a world champion.
Tainted in what regard?
tainted as far as, the prestige of being world champion. The WWE title. He cannot do what he's supposed to do as the champion because of what's going on. Is a match with Dolph Ziggler going to help him and elevate him as a world champion? No. Randy Orton on paper should. Randy on paper.
I feel like they're going to give that belt to Randy.
You know what? I don't know if that changes anything.
Okay. Do you think Drew's gonna have an asterisk next to his title run?
I don't know. I don't know what the outcome is going to be. By the way, this is hysterical. What Jonathan has sent me, and I'll play this in a little bit. This is freaking hysterical. I don't know. I don't. What do you think of Drew's reign? Let me ask you that.
I enjoy it, but it's unfortunate that he is not in front of an audience. He's a dude that has worked so hard to do this in front of a live crowd, and it sucks that he's got to do this shit in front of like NXT developmental basically like every week.
Yeah.
It just seems like everybody's going to like a really high-end wrestling school right now, and they're bringing the veterans in to do wrestling shows and cut promos on the crowd. This looks like an old like OVW show, right?
Yeah. Very good quality OVW show. I don't know,
like
man.
It looks awesome.
It's not what I would want this to be for Drew and his title reign. I don't think this is what it would have been. Jonathan,
I agree
email me the images, by the way. He's DMing it. I can't send it to the other computer. Send it to me via email and I'll pull it up.
I got a great idea for another venue.
Sorry.
Aircraft carrier like the Intrepid.
You know what? That's not a crazy concept. Why not? But what's available? What facilities are available for them to use? Mm-hmm. That's the biggest problem. I don't know, because less and less every week I'm enjoying Raw. I'm enjoying SmackDown. And they're in a big. It's starting to reach a point that it's gonna get worse. It's only gonna get worse. I don't see them rebounding immediately. Mm-hmm. And this is something to be concerned with, because majority of their revenue, all their revenue at this point, is TV rights. House shows have been losing money for them for about 18 months, a year and a half. I mean, maybe 2 years now. Mm-hmm. They're not very profitable. If the margins are very thin as far as profit from these house shows. So you're seeing less of these house shows, and that's fine. That's okay. But the problem here is, okay, so if you don't have a house show business, which they don't right now, and and you don't really have a pay-per-view business, because you don't do pay-per-view, you do the network, your network numbers are going down, and your TV rights that's where you're making all your money, but your TV viewership is plummeting. And what are you going to do when NFL shows up and NBA shows up and all the other competition comes back on Mondays and on Fridays? Not good.
Yeah, they're in a weird spot, huh? Specifically WWE. Specifically WWE is in a weak spot, in a weird spot, just because like the corporate machine has really taken off within the last like 10 years, right? Where it's more family programming, a lot of LED shit happening, a lot of this is like the last 5 years has been a hell of a lot of like multimedia crossover stuff, like with the Ronda Rousey thing and even beyond that. And it seems like they were like on this like weird rocket ship to approaching like what a Disney idea of wrestling would be, right? And now with what's happened in the last 5 months, it seems like that rocket ship is slowly careening back down to earth.
But why is that? You like this is what I was thinking. If the whole COVID thing didn't happen, where would they be sitting right now? I don't think their ratings would be as low, but it would be low. It would still be reaching all-time lows. That's what we were talking about in February and in early March and in January and in December. It's an all-time low. It's an all-time low. It's the first low of the modern era. It's the first low of this. The first hour was this low. That's the constant conversation here. What I really would like to know, and I'm having a difficult time compiling this, and maybe someone in the audience could help me with this or know who would know. If you were to compare 1999's ratings, right? 1999's ratings and today's ratings, and you were to compare them with the whole scope of TV, where does it fall? How bad is it really? Because you can't compare the 5 and the 6 million viewers they were getting in 99 to today because there's so much competition for your eyeballs. DVR is accessible. People watch later in the week. People watch online. They're watching YouTube. You know, if we were to compare and see, okay, what the realistic in today's value, what are the ratings?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would like to know.
Yeah, I mean, like it's like a money type thing. It's like currency was valued at X amount in 1920, and now in 2020 that amount will be worth something else. Like if a show or like one episode or something got like a 9.8, like let's say like a Raw, they would give whatever production that was a full network, right? Because that's like that. Those numbers are like unheard of these days. Like if let's say we had like Matt Men the show on like Monday night at 7:00, and then all of a sudden like you got like a 9.2 on a Nielsen, we would have an entire TV station.
Yeah.
Producing all sorts of content just because it's like that's completely unheard of. Not only do you have other channels that you're competing with, you're competing with streaming, cable cutters, and people who just don't give a shit anymore. You know, I think that's a big thing, especially like now that we're good.
Last night, you know what I did? I just watched YouTube videos on like true crime. I watched AEW.
Really?
I watched AEW.
Mm-hmm.
I watched half of it last night, and then I got distracted and I lost some time. So I was like, you know what? I'll watch the rest this morning, and I watched true crime videos for the rest of the night.
And YouTube is another channel. Yeah, you're competing with everything. The YouTube thing I think is fascinating too, because if you're between the ages of like 4 and 13, that's all you watch, right?
That is all you watch. My kids don't understand TV. They don't understand why shows don't go back to back. Like if they're watching a show, they'll say like, why can't I watch this? By the way, things have gotten so bad at WWE. I'm their new world champion. It's gotten that bad. That bad they put the title on me.
It's so good. I like the Steph reaction makes it like super awesome.
The Steph reaction is the best. Hunter is not really sold on me as world champion, but Steph definitely is. Steph is very excited to have me there. That's
so epic.
Yeah. That's my gimmick. That's what Vince wanted. It's not my call. I can't pick the gimmick. Vince did it. Vince goes, we're gonna make you into some sort of Arab. That's the gimmick. I was like, I'm not Arab. It's okay. Who cares? That's what he said.
We'll call you the Freak Sheik.
The Freak Sheik. That's what happened. So I got to tell you, Raw. I think the Randy Orton program is solid for Drew. I think this is the way. This is his first real program, if you think about it, as world champion. You know, his first legitimate challenger that he's facing. Randy Orton has been on one guy that has been elevated tremendously throughout this entire COVID scenario is Randy Orton. He's doing one of the best work he's done in his career.
Let me tell you why. And we've said this for many, many years. Randy Orton is a slow burn. And what better time to have a slow burn guy when everything is super slow in the world, right?
Yeah,
you had that drawn out feud with Edge, and that I know, like, just because of how sparse the programming is, that feud with Edge I feel like has took forever, and then now being like the legend killer again, and at this point like challenging for the title, he's the slow burn champ, you know. So do you think he'll take it from Drew at SummerSlam?
I got to see what they do with the program going into it. I don't know what the right call is. I would have said even a week ago it's the wrong time to take the title off of Drew, but nothing freaking matters right now. Nothing matters.
Okay.
And if you're WWE, you're noticing that your numbers are dropping because Drew's champion. I wouldn't hold it against them because there's not much you could do. There's no crowd to work with. Guys are not available to work with. It's a very confusing time for them. So if you do take the title off of him and you put it on Randy and you see the ratings go up, what does that say? I don't know.
That's a tough call. Is Randy known for bringing ratings?
I got to look back. I don't remember at all. I know that he had a couple reigns that were good, but really it's a weird time when he was on top, you know?
Yeah, I think he's one of the greats of all time, but it's also very interesting, like, to see where the show was with regard to like when he had all his title runs, and also I have a feeling that this feud might set up a Roman return.
Well, Yes, that you're absolutely
Okay.
right on that, because right now they're working hard at trying to get him back.
Okay.
They really want Roman back. They feel that they're within the company. They feel that a lot of the ratings issues has to do with the lack of star power, and he would be the man. I know that there was a conversation for SummerSlam for it to be Edge and Orton again in front of an audience. Obviously, that's not happening. I don't, there's a lot of rumors as to who goes into WrestleMania as world champion, but none of this, you can't, we can no longer predict. Everything that I have said that this company was going to do has shifted because the company has changed their entire process of how they're planning booking and what they're doing. You're going to have, you're planning booking and you're doing this, but what happens when someone gets sick? Out the window. So
Exactly.
It's a lot of the conversations that I'm having are, we don't know. We don't know. Things are changing. Listen, Velveteen Dream is a great example of this. Where the hell is he? Everybody's very quiet about this Velveteen Dream issue because the accusations are pretty serious. And I was told, somebody asked, they go, you had said that he was going to get terminated. I did say that, but I did also say I have not been able to confirm this. I'm saying this right now, but I'm not able to confirm that the termination comes that week. I trust the source. I trust that was the conversation. I don't know now when the termination is coming or how it's coming, but I know for a fact he's off of TV, and this is a very serious problem right now for them. Just to kind of touch on that, and everything is kind of up in the air. They're looking at some of these scenarios. They're taking the opportunity of kind of downplaying scenarios because they're in this COVID crisis, and in other scenarios, they're upplaying scenarios because they're in this crisis. So it's a really messy situation with everything. But with that said, you look at Raw. Who are the top guys on Raw right now? Who's the guy that
Randy
you
Orton.
tune in? No, but you, Rich, you specifically, right? When you go, it's Monday afternoon. It's Monday at 7:30, and you go, oh shit, Raw's on. I got to turn it on to see this. They're lacking that.
Honestly, like for my money, and I hate to admit this, it's nobody. And it's not that I'm not at the point where I'm like, I should watch this out of obligation, but I'm very close to that. And I'm like, let me just turn it on for a little bit. And then at some point I'm like, I get bored. And then I start getting in my own head about like how weird the Performance Center looks. And then I kind of check out, and then next thing I know, it's like 10:30 and I'm like, what's happening right now?
Yeah. And listen, how about SmackDown? Right? Let's talk about SmackDown.
Same thing, except it's blue.
It's yeah. And for whatever reason, I'm so disconnected from it again. How psyched were we when they went live a couple years ago? How psyched were we when AJ Styles was the guy for SmackDown? I tuned in every week. I watched SmackDown, and I've always been a guy that's been kind of on SmackDown. I've always been. It's Raw was always the show, and I watched SmackDown when it was on Thursdays. When they went to Fridays, it became difficult. Then they switched again. I have a very difficult time with SmackDown because there's really not much happening.
SmackDown, actually, I do think is the better show, oddly enough, because it's 2 hours, and plus,
it is a better show.
Their roster, I feel, is more engaging than the Raw roster, because I think I may have just answered our own question why Raw is so weird, because the Raw roster will always be the Raw style roster. You'll get Seth Rollins, you get Big Show, you get Randy Orton, you get all the big dudes, right? On SmackDown, you have more of an engaging quote unquote wrestling show. Right? Yeah. AJ Styles, Matt Riddle, etc. And, a lot of that roster could do with a freshening up move to Raw right now, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want to see Daniel Bryan versus Drew in a program?
But here's the thing, right? And here's the other problem. I know we're kind of ranting and raving a little bit, but I think this is acceptable at this point. And then we're going to go really quick into everything from the other day because we have to do the Rocky interview. But you look at the roster, and that's part of the problem too, is diluted. I don't see a reason for a heavy brand split. I don't. I understand guys should be more heavily on one product compared to the other, but your guys like Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, Drew, Seth, Roman, Randy, even let's say Edge, let's say Andrade, The list. I mean, there's a good handful of top guys. Those guys should be be on every show. You guys aren't doing house shows. You know what? It's one day of taping. Let's get these guys on the TV. Let's make it more interesting. Let's give matches that we haven't seen. I want to see
especially
AJ
for a
Styles
3-hour
and Drew
show.
for a 3-hour show.
Yes.
Let's have a title switch on TV. Why are we not seeing title changes? WWE title changes. Do we need Braun Strowman as Universal Champion on SmackDown facing who the hell knows? No, we don't even need 2 titles anymore. Get rid of that second title. The purpose of that Universal title, it's fascinating how they did this. The concept was your champion, they wanted to limit your world champion's defenses, right? The less you give, the more people want to see you. And Brock Lesnar was the man for that. And the experiment really worked for them. The less they were doing with the world title, the better it was. But they needed another title to be defended because Brock was a limited guy. So they created this title concept where one of the belts would be on TV and the other one wouldn't. You don't need that anymore. Get rid of that Universal title. Have the WWE World Championship. Unify them. Do whatever the hell you're going to do. Make it interesting. Then you have one guy defending the title on both brands. That's it. Why can't we see that?
And like 2 separate feuds on both shows.
Yeah. No, you have one program. No, you have one program, right? And then once you're done with that guy, you go to another guy, whoever the guy is. Maybe it stays on Raw more, maybe it stays on SmackDown more, but you're defending the title everywhere. So if me and you are if you're a Raw guy and I'm the world champion, and we're in a program and I'm on SmackDown, you come to SmackDown. You just have these guys everywhere. You need to freshen it up. And it's so frustrating as a fan at this point to see the lack of just connectability with the audience. That's the biggest problem. They cannot connect. And the other problem here, Rich, NXT has really fallen, in my opinion. How do you feel about it?
Yes, I agree with that. I feel like it was on such a high when it debuted on TV. And I don't know, it's weird. Like the match quality is there and the characters are there, but I think it's just everything else around it. It makes it very, it puts people to sleep. It's like a droopy show. It's like a weighty show where like when you watch it, you're kind of like, not that it's bad, but it has like an aura about it where it's like, it's too much. It's like when you overeat pasta, like that's how I see NXT. Or like it kind of gives you that like sleepy feeling, but it's good,
But here's the thing, right? Who do you really? How much as a main product, right? When we were watching anything, you had Nakamura, you had all this guy, you had this guy, you had that guy. Now you have Bronson Reed, Drake Atlas, Dexter Lumis. Yeah. Are they going to? Listen, you got Keith Lee, he's phenomenal, but they're not able to do much, and especially with the same aesthetic, it's the same show every week. AEW, on the other hand, looks great because even though they're in the same building, it's a much lively building.
Yes, and I also think they do more in 2 hours with the talent they have, and they have a stacked roster. And I don't mind seeing like last night you had like an opening 5-on-5 tag, right? You don't really see high quality tag matches like that on WWE programming, even though they do have enough roster to do something like that. Yeah. Give everybody like time to shine, let everybody get their stuff in, do a promo at the end. Like exactly what happened yesterday. The Inner Circle lost. You had Jericho and Sammy cut promos, little comedy bit, and then they go away. It makes you remember what you just saw, and it makes you want more, as opposed to somebody coming out and cutting. A lot of my issues with WWE is the cookie cutter promos, and I think Drew delivers those promos better than most of the roster.
Drew's like very good at that.
I think he puts his own inflection on what he's given.
Samoa Joe
as opposed to like the AEW guys who are just kind of like, it's good promo after good promo, and it's shocking to see that on a wrestling show, right? Like Wednesday, MJF promo, Moxley promo, Ricky Starks promo, Taz, like all these dudes are cutting awesome promos all the effing time. And there's no scripts, right?
Yeah. No. I don't know. I should find that out. What did you think of AEW last night? I thought it was, it was fine. It wasn't as good as of a show as then last week. Last week was stellar. This was a fine show to build to another week.
Right.
It was fine. I do have a couple issues with it, though. I mean, listen, AEW is not perfect by any means, but they are kicking WWE's butt. I think they beat Raw's last week, 18-34.
Wow.
That's dangerous. I don't think, I mean, listen, I know there's this weird thing now when people are, oh, this sucks, people talk about ratings. We cover the business end of stuff, too. We cover the industry. This is a bad sign for the industry when you have a secondary product, right, in the eyes of TV and ads, beating your main in 18-34, which is a key demo. It's a little, it's not good. So it's not. I think WWE should be very concerned. Now, I'm not saying that AEW is going to beat them, but they should be concerned that they're their own demise. I'm not saying they're going away, but as far as
100%,
Fox cannot be super thrilled right now. USA cannot be super thrilled, and honestly, the COVID stuff might have been a blessing in disguise for them as far as the pressure from the networks, because they're giving first-run live programming every single week, and it's something. It's something they're getting. So the networks are kind of backed off. They're not going to force them and be heavy on them. Maybe they need to be. I don't know. I think maybe they need to be a little strong. Yeah.
Got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
So do you think WWE needs another Vince Russo type to really get some good creative on TV?
I don't. They need to connect with the audience, whether that's more adult-based content, that's more story-based content. The biggest problem is that they don't have a star. There is no star that these guys have right now. They have not done a good job at taking one guy, plucking him out, and saying, this guy's better than every single other person in this roster. I don't care if you like Andrade. This other guy is better than him. And we don't care. That's what we had with Austin. That's what we had with The Rock. That's what we had with Hunter.
John Cena. They don't want to do that.
John Cena.
They don't want to do that anymore. They want. I think they want even Steven. You want even Steven. Everybody's on the level playing field. They could easily do that with.
Everybody's marketable.
Right. They could honestly, the first guy that comes to mind is, and they've done it a little bit, Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins could be that ultimate push. Roman is over and he's going to stay over, right? Because he looks the way he looks. He works the way he works. He's the exact, like, upper echelon WWE style guy, right?
Here's a question for you. Here's a question for you, because you hit the nail on the head here. Who was the last guy that got over naturally that the company was 100% behind?
John Cena.
Yes and no, right? Like, who's the last guy that resonated with casual fans, hardcore fans? Like, who's that guy that connected to everybody?
Eddie, John Cena, Dana Bryan.
I would go back even more, man. I honestly do not. They have not had a guy since Austin and Rock that everybody was on the same page. The hardcore fans were, the pro wrestling fan, the hardcore fans, the casual fans, the company, the advertisers, the network. These are all guys. Maybe CM Punk was a guy, but really he was not. He was never going to be that guy. Never in the eyes of the company. The last two were Austin and Rock. You're talking 20-something years ago. They got over 1999, 1998. That's bad. John Cena was kind of the in-between here, but Daniel Bryan was for us, but it wasn't for, the mainstream. You think people looked at Daniel Bryan and said, oh my God, that guy's so impressive. Look at his size, look at his stature, look at his No, he appealed to us as wrestling fans.
Would you throw Roman in there because of? I'm saying John Cena and Roman too a little bit, just because of the youth demographic, because that's how you build the future generation of fans, right? Like kids, like Hulk Hogan, perfect example. Kids loved Hulk, kids loved Macho, kids loved the Ultimate Warrior, and then they grew up and their kids, or when they got older, they loved the Austins and the Rocks and the Triple H's, and then when those kids got older, like. They had kids, and those kids are like John Cena, Roman Reigns. Those are our guys, right? Yeah. So it's like a weird kind of like mix of different things that kind of go into fandom for us, because we're like in our late 30s. I'd be more I'd be more satisfied watching a guy like Eddie Kingston or John Moxley on TV than watching I don't know who's like a Bobby Lashley, or like a Braun Strowman.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. You know who? Let me. The last person that resonated with everybody, Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch resonated with everybody.
Okay, yeah,
right. But they, unfortunately for Becky Lynch, the amount of opponents on that level to draw were gone. Didn't exist. Becky Lynch got over because she got a bloody nose, and everybody wanted to see the Ronda Rousey stuff and the Charlotte stuff. But once you ran that program, you just used that program. Ronda left, unfortunately for them, and then they did that Bizarro Seth stuff over the summer, and that kind of hurt it. So there you go. She didn't. Unfortunately for her, she just didn't have the caliber of opponents. And I know you're going to say Asuka, and you're going to say this, but in reality, I'm saying a mega star. There's a difference between having a solid worker that's over and having a mega star as your opponent. And unfortunately, you only get over when you're facing guys that are better than you or on the same level. And she unfortunately didn't have that. And I think that's the problem with the women's draw. I mean, again, it's a lack of depth, but now they're getting a little better at it. Anyway, let's go into really quick last night's AEW. What did you think of it overall?
I liked it.
The show.
I liked it. I really thought there were a lot of high points in it, very little low points for me. A couple of things that stuck out were the MJF promo, which I really liked, just especially kind of like that was a very tongue-in-cheek, almost like ECW style promo where he called out WWE but not saying WWE.
Yeah.
With the old guard and the Titans, and then he did the Hogan thing. I thought that was great. Do you think he's gonna take the belt off Mox next month?
At the pay-per-view?
Yeah.
Again, they're in the same boat, right? Like, do you take the title off of Mox? What do you do?
Right. Do you need the crowd, right?
Do you kind of need the crowd for a title change like that if you're doing it on a pay-per-view? I think AEW, as far as the titles go, because there's so little titles, like they don't have 80,000 titles. I think what does WWE have? Let's see: Universal, World, Tag, Women's Tag,
Women's title,
IC, US, Women's title. All right, that's Cruiserweight. All right, they have 10 titles on them, and then you got all the NXT stuff, 10, and then you got NXT World, NXT Women's, NXT tag. So you got in North American. So you got 14 titles in this company.
Yeah. A lot.
AEW has tag, TV, and World, and Women's. And Four titles.
And do you count the FTW title?
Okay, fine. Yeah, FTW title. Sure. NXT UK. Yeah. Forgot about NXT UK and the NXT UK tag titles. NXT UK Women's. 17 titles. A
lot of titles. Yeah.
17 freaking titles.
At that point, it just becomes a prop, right? If you consolidated that back down,
but that's what ruined boxing. That's what people don't realize that really hurt boxing. I grew up on 80s and 90s boxing. That really hurt boxing because everybody had a title. Everybody was IBF champion, WBF champion, WBO champion. Then you had a linear champion, and then you had all the cruiserweight titles and this title and that. It was so many belts. It just
about the 24/7.
24/7 title. There you go. I think 17 now. 16, 17, crazy, whatever it is. Crazy. So AEW, on the other hand, I think they're doing a great job with that TV title. Cody's defending it to either established guys or new people. It was great to see Warhorse on there. This guy's gotten a lot of publicity via Twitter and social media since reinventing himself the last couple of years as this, I don't even know what he is, a metal rock ultimate warrior. He's playing a wrestler, essentially, right? He's a wrestler. That's his gimmick. I thought it was fine. He didn't. One criticism. I don't know if it was nerves. I don't know if it was whatever, but he really didn't blow me away in the match. Cody sold for this guy. Crazy.
Yeah.
But listen, the guy's young. He's 20-something years old. This guy's going to have a great career, and it's great that he got on TV. The other thing,
Absolutely.
if you notice, Excalibur was off a commentary.
Mm-hmm.
There's something brewing here. There's a video. I can't remember if it's PWG. I don't want to disparage the company or what, but there's a video of Excalibur and Kevin Steen and a couple other guys from it is a PWG show from 15 years ago where Excalibur is calling. I cannot remember the wrestler's name. I just glanced at this before we went on because somebody sent it to me. He's calling him the N-word in a promo.
Oh, Jesus.
Over and over again.
Yeah.
But it was a Human Tornado. He was calling Human Tornado, which is black, likes racial heat. And he's the one that came up with that promo, right? He's the one that said, no, this is, I want you to call me this. I want you to say this. And they did in a promo from 2003. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but that's starting to circulate now. I don't know if Kevin Owens is going to have any kind of repercussions from this or what. But, listen, 15 years ago, a lot of weird stuff happened in wrestling and in media, things that were not even, listen, I don't find that word acceptable in any era, but
right.
The use of it was used more in that sense to get heat and racial stuff to do heat. And listen, I'm not justifying. I'm not saying it's right, but 2003, you know what I mean? It was agreed. It was a character. It was a shitty promo. It was a bad move.
Right.
I don't know if they're gonna punish him. I don't know if he's off TV for that. I don't know what Kevin Owens is gonna deal with now that this is surfaced. But PWG used to do a lot of that. They've done a lot of racial promos on racial humor on that thing. I watched a whole bunch of these videos from that era, and I was actually surprised to see so much of that used as insults. So I don't know if that's the reason and what's going to happen there. We'll see. It was just, I listened to it. I was like, oh boy. I actually went, yikes.
That's rough. That's rough stuff.
Yeah.
Well, also, you kind of say yikes now when you see the Nation of Domination stuff with DX, right?
Dude,
You're like,
you say yikes now. We're in a different climate. I get it. But also, it's a TV show, right? WWE is a TV show. There are, when you see someone use that word on The Wire, or you see somebody use that word on that's an old show. I don't know why I went to The Wire, but any TV show, any movie, and they're portraying a villain, and they use that term to call, Sopranos, great example, right? Sopranos.
Okay.
That was a word that was thrown out all the time. Different era, or the fact that you're able to disconnect and say, wow, these are really bad men. They're conflicted. They're good guys and bad guys at the same time. They're very conflicted people. I'm accepting this when I see this as, okay, these are very troubled people. You're able to kind of
This is how that type of guy talks.
This is how that guy talks. They're all vile. Listen, Tony Soprano wasn't a babyface. This guy, they all suck. So
Matt Pranos, baby.
Matt Pranos. So you got to look at it as, okay, is it a reflection of the person? Is it a reflection of the character that we're playing? Longest Yard. Stone Cold used it many times, but for whatever reason, we're able to disconnect because it's on a big screen. It's on a movie. So
Django Unchained.
Django Unchained.
Perfect
How many
example.
times was that word used?
Oh my God.
It was astronomical.
Yeah.
There was criticism over the use, but it changes. So anyway, I don't know if that's why I feel bad for him, to be honest, that things like this surface. I don't want anybody to suffer for something from their youth like that when they're playing a character. They're not the actual person saying and doing it, but it's in a character, much like a TV show. So we'll see what happens.
Much like Terry Bollea has a regular sized penis.
And Hulk Hogan, gigantic 10-inch penis for Hulk Hogan. Guys, we got a couple minutes here. We're getting ready for Rocky. I'm going to message him. Sent an email with updated link. I just sent it to him, so we're going to kind of get this going. Any Q&As? Let's do fast Q&A here. We got 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Quick, very quick. Let's do a Q&A segment here, and we'll rapid fire stuff, because I'm excited to get Rocky on. Are you happy that baseball is back, Rich?
I am. I'm happy that the Mets won their game on opening day, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
Well, they're not doing. Listen, they're 3-3. They're playing 500 ball.
Yeah.
They're playing the Red Sox again. They probably could beat the Red Sox today. The Red Sox are not doing great.
Yeah.
They're 2-4. So we'll see what happens. I don't know how they're ranked. I don't know how everybody else is playing right now. I think everybody's playing like
I saw
crap.
that there's Yeah. I mean, the enthusiasm probably isn't as there as it should be. I did read that the Marlins are being investigated for the COVID outbreak as to, like, was there any extracurricular activities these guys are getting up to?
Yeah, they went to a strip club in Atlanta.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's what happened. They went to a strip club in Atlanta and they all got it.
Crazy.
So stupid. Let's see. What else do we have? Will WWE get canceled within the next year? Raw and SmackDown keep crashing. No, I mean, it has to plummet. Ratings have to be really, really bad for that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that happening. Sorry.
Like,
I don't
super
see that
in the
happening.
toilet. They would have to be like, but that's the thing. Like, even if like USA and Fox dropped Raw and SmackDown, like, who's to say that the TV Guide channel isn't going to pick one of them up, or, like, you know, the Home Gardening Network is going to be like, listen, we want wrestling.
My back's killing me. Sorry, guys. Let's see what else we got here. Will WWE get canceled? Andrew, any truth of the rumors you're renovating your backyard to accommodate a certain wrestling show in 2 weeks? It's very possible. Can you imagine? I just want you to picture that for 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
Just picture it. Just imagine that happens here.
I'm imagining.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Like SummerSlam in Andrew's back.
Live
and
from
use the
Bayside.
studio's Gorilla.
My studio's Gorilla.
Live from Cherry Tree Lane.
God damn it. He starts yelling at my kids to get him stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan, Andrew, did you find a new spot to tan? No, I have not tanned in 3 days. I'm dying here. This is terrible. I'm fading.
These good 3 days that you didn't tan, man. It's been hot.
It's been really hot. Crown Wolf, what's next for Sasha and Bailey? God, they're on fire. Sasha and Bailey. They're on freaking fire right now. I love everything they're doing with them. They're actually, you want to talk about someone that I tune in for? I'm actually tuning in for Sasha and Bailey for Raw.
Sure.
And SmackDown. I mean, whatever they're on, they're phenomenal. They're really, really good. I think you're eventually going to see a split of the title. They're going to drop the title to somebody, and then there's going to be tension, and then one of them is going to lose the title and turn on the other one, and you're going to have a big program, which I'm very excited to see. If they could do what they did in NXT in WWE, which they've attempted and it didn't really work out too well, I would love to see it. I would love to see it. Yeah. Let's see. Anything else? And then we're gonna wrap it up here because Rocky's getting ready to come on with us. So what we'll do? Cool. We'll end it, I guess, now, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Sure. Listen, quick show, right? We did about 40-something minutes of the show.
57
quick show, 57 minutes. I said 45 minutes. Excellent. We're here. Stay tuned. We're going to be interviewing Rocky Romero. He's going to be joining us now right after this to talk about, everything else happening in pro wrestling, and we'll continue the conversation with him because this is going to be phenomenal. I just wanted to have a separate show out for you guys and do this. Obviously, maybe we'll do a Q&A. You guys want to do a Q&A with Rocky also? We'll talk about New Japan. We'll talk about, the podcast and everything else going on. Favorite non-in-ring competitor crowd pop. Mine is Linda McMahon. Yes, Linda McMahon breaking out of her comatose state at WrestleMania 17. Got one of the biggest pops hysterically. Love that one. That's a great one, Bachelor 3000. All right, guys. Love all of you. We'll see you all next time. Take care.
Later.
Perfect timing.
Great.
Let's see. What happens here? What is this? What the hell is this?
What is this?
I don't know. It's going off.
Is that his countdown? Are you counting Rocky in with the slate right there?
I'm counting him down. All right, so we're gonna hang out for a little bit while Rocky comes on.
Cool.
Get him situated. Sometimes this is a herky jerky thing to do when we try to connect this and do this.
Yeah. I'll be back in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get some coffee.
All right. All right. Well, what are the questions here in the chat? Kisses, Jonathan. I got a question for all you non-New Yorkers, how do you greet? Okay, this is God's honest question. How do you greet a person of the opposite sex when you see them, a friend? Do you do the hug and the kiss? Do you just do the hug? Do you do a handshake? Do you do a wave? What do you do? I'm gonna explain to you why I'm asking this. I'm curious.
Hello, hello.
Yes, Rocky's hopping on now.
Well. Awesome. So how are we going to do this? We're going to do like a 3-way VMix?
Yeah, you could do up to, I think, 8 people on vMix.
Oh, it's like a Zoom deal.
Okay, so I asked this question when you stepped away. I'm going to ask Rocky this, too, because I know what the answer for you is. When you greet a friend of the opposite sex, how do you greet them? A hug and a kiss, a shake, a wave?
Hug and a kiss. Straight
hug and a kiss.
Always a kiss. Hug and a kiss. Kiss on the cheek. Sometimes 2 cheeks.
2 cheeks sometimes, yeah.
Depending on who it is.
I'm not saying like you're like kissing the cheek, but you're doing like the side kiss. You know what I mean? Sometimes a 2 kiss, sometimes a 1 kiss.
It depends on who it is. Sometimes I'll give the hard side cheek. Sometimes I'll do the kiss. Sometimes I'll do the kiss on the hand. Again, depends on the relationship with said female.
I had a bizarre conversation with one of my friends. She was telling me that... Hold on. I think we got Rocky here. Yo,
what's going on? Can you
hey, what's going on? Yeah, I can. Can you do me a favor? Can you rotate the camera? I think it's going to work. This may be the easiest way that we've done this.
Awesome.
Let's see if we can rotate it. All right. Got Rocky there. All right.
What's up, Rocky? How you doing?
Good. How you guys doing?
Good. Are you doing you're on your phone, I assume, right?
Yeah.
Can you tilt the camera the other way so it's sideways? Let's see if that works. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, there we go. Awesome. Let me get your audio up. Right. Let's I got to get you on camera. There we
Probably
go.
should have logged in on the
on the computer. I mean, this is working.
Yeah.
You want to do it this way? This works.
This way I don't have to hold it.
Yeah, whatever you want. You want to change it and log in on the computer? That's fine.
Yeah, I'm right in front of it. I'll just hop on real quick.
Awesome.
Awesome. If that's cool. Or are we going?
Yeah.
We're going.
No, we're live. We're live, but we're on a break. Like we're live, but not live. We're not recording. So.
Okay. Let me see if
I always forget. I gotta explain to people. Let's see. Jason says typically a hug. Yeah, I think is it an East Coast thing, Rich? I think it's an East Coast thing.
I don't know. It depends, man. It really depends. I think you have to also read the situation. You know what I mean? Like if I'm first meeting somebody, it's like a handshake, but usually by the end of the night, it's like a big hug and a kiss.
Yeah.
Again, it depends. Like there's some women I know that are friends of friends that I can't stand, and they'll just get like a nod. A fucking nod, or like a handshake, not a stiff handshake, but like just like
very soft one. I give a very
like
soft
a limp fish handshake,
like Coco.
Yeah.
All right.
The monkey paw.
We're just gonna ask Rocky this question the whole show. It's just gonna be an explanation on how you greet people. You guys are in a whole new world for this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like we grew up in I think everybody's Greek Italian, so I'm used to doing the double kiss. And also, even in Manhattan, like in the Upper East Side, Upper West Side, everybody's doing the double-sided kiss.
Mm-hmm. That's too posh, though. Sometimes
it is a little posh.
It's a little posh. The Euro double kiss the Greek double kiss is different than like the posh double kiss.
The posh double kiss.
I can't stand the posh double because the posh
Greek double
kiss
they lick your beard.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they lick your beard. They grab your ding dong a little bit.
Are you?
At least my wife's family.
Or. Let's see.
Yo, I drank a effing full pot of coffee today.
Yeah, I'm feeling good today. I don't know. I'm on a new vitamin regimen. Taking
Oh,
a
yeah?
bunch of stuff. I
Vitamin?
went for a run yesterday, dude.
New vitamin. Nice, man.
Yeah, I did like 3 miles.
Cool.
My legs are killing me, Chrome.
Trying to get away from your family.
Okay, he cannot see us. Close out the phone.
There we go.
Oh, there you go. Oh, man, look at this
There.
setup.
Wow.
Wow, that looks great.
Oh, nice. Wow.
All right.
It's like we're doing talking
about
shop.
to cut a.
I know. It's legit.
This guy's up.
Sorry, I just
this guy's
woke
about
up,
to
so
cut a
I'm
verse.
No, no
I
worries.
always forget that I shouldn't take interviews at 9 a.m. because I hate being up at 9.
I'll do it next time. We can do it later, man. We can do it later next time.
I always say yes. I get excited because it's like when I say yes, it's like the afternoon, and I'm like, yeah, I'll be up at 9 a.m. Of course I will. Of course I'm not up at 9 a.m. We're living in these trying times.
I'm gonna
Those
send you a
stupid
link.
commercials. We're living in these trying times.
I'm gonna send you a link if you want to post it on your Twitter or not. It's up to you. I got a link here. I just sent it via iMessage.
Okay.
All right.
Okay,
Let me tweet out that we're going live. Yeah, I think this is cool. And then we got the chat room going. So we just finished recording, so most people left. But I think it's cool to kind of have like a smaller group and have the chat, and we do Q&A at the end and make it fun for them. Man, I think the last time you were on, things were still going on, right? It was right before I think the quarantine. When?
Yeah. God,
It was. I think you guys were doing New Beginning.
I feel it was like. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right? Was
Right.
it New Beginning? Let's see when
So
this
yeah,
was.
that
January.
January.
Yeah.
I think you were on a
That
promote.
seems like an eternity.
Yeah.
To like promote a California show, right? Was that it?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, it was
Maybe.
for
I don't
let's see.
remember.
I put a thing.
Oh,
the
and that
US
was
tour.
November then, maybe.
Oh,
It was
wow.
Friday,
Is it in
Friday,
November?
January 24th.
There you go.
US tour. All right.
Oh, yeah. You're right. Yeah, I don't remember.
It took me a while. I don't. Everything's blended in, dude. Everything. Let's see.
I don't
Let's
know what's
put-
going on anymore.
I know.
Yeah,
It's
dude.
true. Let me tweet this, and then we'll get started.
Did you guys tag me?
I'm gonna tag you now. I'm gonna do it now.
That'd be-
I did
yeah,
it
'cause that'd
earlier,
be the
but
easiest.
let's do this.
Let me see.
We are live. We are live.
Time is a
with
flat circle.
All right.
Rocky.
Cool.
So
Okay.
somewhere buried in my tweets. Possibly. I should just go to here.
All right,
See.
and we're live with Rocky. There we go. Perfect.
Rocky, how many
Alrighty.
DMs do you get a day?
A lot.
has to be
a
on
lot of
the-
DMs. A lot of emails. I get all kinds of stuff all day long.
Awesome.
It's
All
weird to
right.
sift through all that stuff, right?
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard. I feel bad. I wish I could do a better job, but it's tough.
Well, you got a lot going on right now. Obviously.
Yeah.
Tons going on right now.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, it's good to be busy
do.
right now considering everything going on.
No, it's true. It's true.
Yeah. I'm sitting at home. I haven't gone to work since March. So,
Damn.
listen, knock on wood, still getting paid though. So that's fine.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Still getting
Same.
paid. That's a
Knock
good
on
thing.
wood.
Knock on wood. All right. I'm ready to go. If you guys are ready, we can start.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit record in 3, 2, and 1. Everybody, welcome to Mat Men. This is a very special Mat Men. We're joined by a good friend of the show's now, second time on, Rocky Romero, New Japan Pro Wrestling star from Talking Shop, the return of Talking Shop. We have so much to talk about. I'm also joined by Rich, of course. Rich, how are you?
Hello. Hi.
Rocky.
I'm good. How are you?
Rocky's here. Hey, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm good. I'm doing good. I mean, a lot of interviews in the last couple of days, and it's kind of all a blur. But I mean, we're counting down to the show, Talking Shop Mania, first pay-per-view ever, live from Gallows' backyard. Well, live, pre-tape live.
Yeah, this is
kinda
going to be awesome. It's available on Fight, obviously, August 1st, 9 p.m. East. You can buy it, $14.99 on Fight. This is going to be very interesting. So I want to talk to you about how this kind of got put together and the concept of this, because it's very, I find it very unique considering they just got, I guess, freed off their contracts. Now they have the opportunity to do essentially whatever they want in a possible way. You're involved with it, obviously, which is great to see you guys back together on this front. I want to know, like, conceptually, how did this get put together?
Like the day it was either the day of the next day that they got fired. It was kind of like, hey, what's up? Are you guys okay? What's going on? And then it was like he was like, guys, I've decided I'm doing a fucking pay-per-view in my backyard, and you guys are either in or you're out. And we're like, what are you talking about? And then it just kind of snowballed from there, and he kind of told us his idea if he wanted to do a boner yard match. And we were like, what the fuck is a boner yard match? and then it just kind of snowballed from there. And then we kind of like, okay, cool. This is going to be like just a fun, crazy pay-per-view from the mind of Gallows. And well, of course, man, we're in, and we'll support you. And obviously we're business partners with Talking Shop, and let's just go all out. And then, the pandemic got worse, and then it got better, we thought, right? And then it got worse. And then the week that we were going to shoot it, it just got worse, especially in the South where he lives in Atlanta. So that was a little crazy, but somehow we made it happen, and, nobody got sick, and we took it really seriously. His wife is a registered nurse, so she was doing temperature checks every day on the property.
Wow.
And checking on everybody. Yes, we had a whole protocol. So I mean, it was like a real pay-per-view. Crazy. I don't know.
And the card is actually
the card.
Really impressive to see. Right? The card, the matches, the people.
That's
right?
Funny.
Would you call it? What would you call it?
I don't know.
Listen, you got Ravens Flock and you got Enzo Amore. I mean,
we can say the roster. The roster.
The
is
roster.
Stacked.
The roster is stacked.
Sure.
I don't know as far as what you guys are going to do on this, but the roster looks really. I mean, dude, you got Johnny Swinger, you got Teddy Long. I'm very excited to see this. When I saw this, I was like, my God, I gotta text Rocky and see if he can come on to talk about this. This is a new front for all of you guys, right? I mean, traditionally, it's a very uniformed. I guess. Listen, I'm friends with many guys in the business. It's uniformed and it's not. And now everything is so uncertain on what the protocol is, what you can do, what you can't do. As far as you go, how has it been for you the last couple months with New Japan and everything else that you've been doing, with kind of just pausing the momentum of everything going on?
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, there, it was nice to have a break, for sure, and kind of let the body kind of rest. And I've been going at it, like being on tour or something, probably since like 2006 was the last time I got seriously injured. So I had like 3 months off. I didn't even have very long off when I got injured. So since 2006, so like, I don't know, for me, it was extremely refreshing. Especially in the beginning, but then of course, I get bored. So then, I started writing music, and then I started working on a music project, and then I got done with that. And then it was like, oh, what else can I do? And then Talking Shop, then the guys got released, and then, we just started focusing on Talking Shop. And then I ended up getting like way busier than I was before the pandemic. And then I was like, what, but from my house, which was even crazier. So, but like long days, like 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., like all day, just doing stuff and working on stuff. But it's been great. At least it's been afforded me the opportunity to do something like this, Talking Shop Mania, a pay-per-view, and, something that I wouldn't normally do or have the time to do. And I'm fortunate for that. And then everybody's going to see it this Saturday. I mean, and it's madness. This thing is crazy.
Yeah, I'm excited for it, for sure. As far as the podcast goes, putting that back together, it was you guys were doing it actually prior to, I guess, the podcast boom of professional wrestlers entering this field. You guys started that podcast way before. I mean, what year was it? I remember listening to it. I mean, God, so many years ago. 2013
or something, maybe.
So this was way before the boom. and obviously content changes, people change, people mature. How's it been getting the gang back together for this? Because it's a different approach now, right? Because it's more, as far as restrictions go with Gallows and Anderson and you, it's a little bit different at this point.
Right. No, it's definitely different. I think what's cool though is like the game was kind of already got set up and figured out, you know? So like when we were doing it, it was still kind of the wild, wild west. It was like, okay, well, we're doing this and like, why are we doing this? Like, and then like, you know, we didn't know, besides just putting the content out, there was no like reciprocation of like, you know, of like people who want you to sell ads or you know, to hype, you know, Pro Wrestling Tees or whatever.
Yeah.
Cause I mean, I think Pro Wrestling Tees was either I don't even know if it was around. It might've been in the infocy of it.
There definitely wasn't any Blue Chew, I'll tell you that.
There was no Blue Chew, that's for sure. And, so, or Manscaped or anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I like, so it's kind of cool that the landscape kind of changed and people kind of figured it out because we kind of walked into it pretty easily. And then, you know, it was cool to see that, like the people who used to watch our show or listen to our show, they actually came back and they were excited for it. And then all of a sudden, you know, this new crop of fans, because after the guys did Talkin' Shop on Jericho's podcast, you know, that really like gave a brand new audience, you know, and those did super well for Jericho. So I don't know. It was cool to walk in, you know, and especially for me because people who knew them from Jericho's podcast, they didn't know who Rocky was. So, you know, I got introduced to a brand new, you know, group of people, you know, WWE fans and old school wrestling fans, you know. So it's all been gravy, dude. It's been cool. It's been cool. The ride has been cool. I'm glad that we brought it back at the time that we did because that was only about a month before the guys got released.
Yeah.
Wow. It seems like all this stuff is almost like not a blessing in disguise, but there's definitely a lot of silver linings with what's going on in the world and then like just people's creative outputs. Do you feel like as a whole, as a wrestler, is something like this better for your mind and body because now you get to rest and concentrate on other things?
No, definitely. I mean, like I've said, you know, I did a music project. I did that seems like so long ago, and it was just like like 4 or 5 months ago. And I did an EP, but I haven't released the whole thing. But I will. I plan on doing it when I get it. Now I'm too busy to finish, like completely finish it. So maybe after this pay-per-view comes out, and then I don't know. And then New Japan, you know, stuff just started back up with we did the Lions Break Collision shows. And those, I don't know if you guys check those out there on New Japan World and Fight TV. There's just really simple, laid out professional wrestling shows, 2 matches, you know, on each Friday night, you know, and you know, really simple backstage interviews. I mean, it's just a complete professional wrestling show without all the, you know, extra frills and things that, you know, sometimes you know you don't need, you know. So
you know, I think for a lot of wrestling fans, the last couple big New Japan shows, obviously we saw a tremendous title change that a lot of people were not expecting. But seeing a live crowd there kind of changed things a little bit. It was probably one of the most normal things I've watched on TV, which is crazy to say that professional wrestling is one of the most normal things I watch. But it really, watching it, and you saw the crowd, and they were into it. You know, obviously they weren't yelling and screaming, they were clapping. But while watching that and being around that and hearing about that, what is that? Do you feel that we're getting closer to this moment where, you know, North America, maybe we could have a live crowd? I mean, obviously it all depends on the numbers, but I felt it to be very normal, and they did a great job at making this safe for everybody.
No, definitely. I hope that we are. You know, I think it's still going to be a while. It'll probably be at least, you know, 6 months, maybe minimum, you know, maybe more. But I think that, you know, either way, it's a step in the right direction, right? And like you said, like that normalcy feels good to see it. Like, oh, hey, I'm tuning into New Japan today, and like there's people there. You know, that's pretty cool. You know, so I think we'll get there. It definitely feels right, and you know, the title change and all the drama that went into it is kind of stirring up the wrestling world a bit. I was listening to a couple of people talk about it and kind of their opinion on, the Bullet Club and Evil and why are they cheating so much and blah, 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 blah. And I'm laughing because I'm like, because that's the point, guys.
Yep.
You're talking about it.
Yeah. That's how it works. I think it's amazing.
It's funny though. I love it though. I mean, just like especially the people who want to weigh in on it and criticize it and whatever, but it's like it's working. Like you said, it's the new work. It's working. So it's like, hey, I don't know. I found it pretty interesting and I've enjoyed the feedback that I've seen.
So as far as your relationship with New Japan, you're doing completely remote work with them at this point, right? Because there's one or two flights out like a week to head to Japan.
Well, yeah, you can't even go to Japan right now. So for anybody who's not a born national, then you can't even get into the country. So if you're Japanese born and say like you come to the States, like Tiger Tori was going back and forth. But he said there's only like one flight a week going from New York, which is crazy, right? New York City to Tokyo, only one flight. But I guess when you land, you go straight to taking a PCR test, and then you got to quarantine for like 2 weeks. So really nobody has been over from the Western side, any of the wrestlers. So we're kind of all just waiting for the borders to kind of open up. And when they do, I saw an article yesterday that seemed like they were going to start letting people who have certain visas in, the kind of visas that we have. So, I mean, there are certain regulations to that too. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen now. And probably it's going to be very limited. So, because think about, all these people, like hundreds of thousands of people who might have gotten stranded outside of Japan that need to get back in. I mean, it's going to be chaos trying to get everybody in. So we'll see.
There's a ton of people. There's a ton of people still stranded and they can't travel back to the country that they need to go to.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So for you though, obviously it's kind of difficult going to a gym and training. How has that been for you to kind of stay in shape and stay in ring shape? Is that a struggle at this point for you, or now it's kind of loosened up a little bit?
I mean, now it's just the problem is time. Like just getting it in. The last couple of weeks have just been so busy. But the good thing, in the beginning, for the first 3 months, or the first like 2 months, I was just doing home workouts. But then, we do have a LA dojo that's not so far away, and there's only like 3 or 4 of us that use it, so we can all easily go and use it, like in increments. So whatever time, hey, I just give a call, but like, hey, what time is anybody going to be there at 1? They're like, no. I'm like, great, I'll be there, and I'm going to use the gym, so which is cool. So that's kind of been like a nice little secret gym that nobody else got access to. So that helped in getting ready for the Lions Break shows tremendously. So but this last couple weeks it's just been kind of crazy. So it's just been kind of really quick, easy workouts in the house. But I don't mind that because then my wife joins me. She's working from home, and the dogs just watch us, and it's been cool. It's been cool to spend time with her because never home. So she's like, she's like,
first time in a long time. Yeah, you're home.
Yeah, she's like, this is great. Oh my God, you're home. She's like, oh my God, I can't. When you start traveling again, it's going to be so weird. I'm like, I know, but I think she's also a little happy that I'll start traveling again because I drive her nuts because I don't know what to do with myself all day.
Listen, I'm in the same boat. I got 2 kids here. I got a 4-year-old and I have a 3-year-old. And I have my brother moved in with us after he got COVID. He was in the hospital for 2 weeks. His ceiling collapsed in the apartment that he was in here in New York City. Geez. So he was essentially, they couldn't come and fix it. So he moved in with me. My other brother's living with me now too. My father lives, it's like King of Queens. I mean, I'm the epitome of Queens, New York. My father lives in my basement in my house. It's been, and I'm literally in a construction. We're gutting the whole house while this is happening. The only safe place in my house is my studio at this point. So I get it. My wife wants me out. She wants me gone. She sent me to, she's like, listen, you got to do me a favor. She goes, the kids are fine. The kids are with their grandmother. I just need like a couple hours. Go to the bar. go have a couple drinks. We have a bunch of rooftops and outdoor dining. And she goes, go. I just need a couple hours to myself where nobody is here. I was like, all right, I'm out of here. I get it, but it's great to see people spending time with their families.
I like to be a little more dramatic when I'm like, you don't want to spend time with me. Of course you don't want to spend time with me. But fine, I'm gonna go anyway.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna enjoy my time. I do think it's so.
I'm secretly thinking I gotta get out of here.
I wanted to ask you because you do have a background in production, and you obviously know audio engineering, and you're phenomenal at it. You're assisting with Talking Shop with the video. I mean, you guys have a video element now, which I absolutely love. When you look at the current product of North American wrestling, right, between Impact and what AEW is doing and what WWE is doing, what do you think of the presentation of the product on TV? Do you, like we were just discussing on the previous show, that I'm having a little bit of a difficult time connecting with the WWE product because it's static. It's always the same feel because of the building that they're in. Do you think this is a long-term effect on how wrestling is going to be presented? Because I know a lot of people are not very happy and they're getting a little disconnected with whatever they're watching because of this.
I think, WWE is just kind of a tough product with no fans in general, because I feel like the fans are so much a part of it. It's built for reactions, so like, guys in the middle of the ring, he's about to say something, promo hits, music hits, and guy, reaction, guy walks out, it's like so heavily based on that. So it's kind of, some things are kind of weird with no fans, and you just kind of got to like either make them quick or just like drop them completely. So I feel like AEW has done a really good job with it. Also, getting to watch and see all the mistakes that, the good things and the bad things, I should say, that both companies were doing, and Impact as well, was kind of like helpful when you're wrestling in front of no fans, like for the Lions Break shows that we did, because then it was just like, oh, okay, if we just focus on each other, and it's more like presented like UFC, because UFC has been awesome, right, during this whole pandemic, so it's like, oh, if the wrestlers just kind of focus on each other, don't focus on the crowd, don't overly do the don't overly do the camera work where you're like trying to figure out what the right angle is for stuff. It's like, I think it's a little easier, and I think like especially New Japan style is, I think, better suited for something like that with no fans in ring as well, at least. Obviously, like trying to do like comedy stuff and trying to do really like comedy stuff, and I guess like sometimes the cheating stuff is kind of hard because obviously it's built on reactions, right? So but I mean, you got to stay true to what the characters are doing, though, right? So
I mean,
because they're telling the story. So
aesthetically, I thought the New Japan show felt like a New Japan show. It looked and felt exactly how it should feel, and it was comforting in a way. Watching it, you felt like, okay, wow, this is what I'm used to watching. When I'm watching, actually, you brought up Impact, and I think that's a great thing to talk about. Their presentation on Slammiversary was phenomenal. It was the first time in a long time that I ordered an Impact pay-per-view. I didn't wait till the next day to see the clips and stuff, but I absolutely loved it. I thought the presentation, it looked phenomenal. Obviously there's a little hiccup here and there with audio, but that's every show. That happens to everybody, even WWE. But I thought they did a great job at presenting a product with no fans. And it felt closed in. You didn't feel like you were looking and seeking for the reactions. AEW's done a tremendous job with this, with introducing, the wrestlers and the staff in the crowd. WWE was very late to the game with this. And it took them a while to adjust. But again, like you said, it's difficult when you plan, you've been doing this process for 25 years, and now you're turning everything upside down and saying, okay, guys, what you've done doesn't work. Fix it. When you're an established business, it's more difficult than an AEW or an Impact, where you really don't have much to lose by trying new experiments. For you, I mean, do you feel that way
I think
when you're watching
they can't afford to do that though too. I feel like they can afford to play with some formulas and try to figure out what is best, and they also have these tremendous, talented people that work there that have so much experience and ideas that they should be able to really be the leader when it comes to, they should, I feel like they should have figured it out first pretty easily,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Rich, did
It
you
just
want
seems
to
like there's too many cooks in the kitchen.
Hold on, go ahead. You broke up for a second.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, I just like it seems like there's too many cooks in the kitchen. Whereas, like, I think me personally, the wrestling I like is very off the cuff, and I think that New Japan style really resonates. Like Andrew was saying, like if you have enough of an audience to give you like an ooh and an ah, like when Evil turned on Naito, I think that definitely does it for me. And I'm pretty sure I speak for Andrew. Where like, yeah, you feel comforted by something like that, as opposed to like a crotch shot and no crowd, and you're kind of like, all right, I'm gonna change the channel,
Yeah, listen, I think we're in a very and also ratings are competitive, right? Everything you're competing with everybody. You're no longer New Japan is not competing with WWE, and WWE is not competing just with AEW or Impact. You're competing with eyeballs. I gave an example. I watched half of AEW last night, and then I went down this weird rabbit hole of true crimes videos on YouTube for like 3 hours. And I rewatched the remaining half of AEW this morning. That is a difficult thing to do, and especially with even podcasts. Rocky, you guys are doing a tremendous podcast. It's the same concept, right? You got to keep it fresh. You gotta provide something different, or else it just falls apart. For you though, what's the plan with the podcast? I'm very interested in this because I get excited. Listen, we've been doing this for almost 11 years. We've been podcasting here. I was fortunate enough to be able to build a studio and knock on wood, turn a profit with this and make some money. But what's the goal with you guys? Because the video element is cool. I'm positive you guys are going to experiment with different concepts because a bunch of creative guys. Just what can you tell us about it?
I mean, I don't know. That's a good question. We've got the main podcast. We're doing our Patreon podcast as well. It's like an extra. We're probably going to continue to do those, but we've been wanting to talk about adding a completely different video aspect and show to it, like just a third show basically. That'll be just for video. So I mean, we kind of want to do that. We're looking for the right partner. Maybe that'll help us to do that. But our production, through Emilio Sparks, he's done a tremendous job with the Countdown to Fucktown video. I mean, that was really dope as hell. Yeah. And the way we put it on YouTube and did it was really, really cool. So we want to get the YouTube numbers up. I think that's important, but we're definitely going to add a video show eventually. I just don't know when, and then we'll also probably do longer clips of the main podcast show, the audio show. So just to add to it. But yeah, we want to definitely do more content. I worry because I feel like once the world kind of opens up, like, am I going to be able to juggle all this? But we'll do what we can until we get there, and we'll see what things are like.
I always say it's not as difficult as you kind of make it out to be. Rich and I have conceptualized all these different ideas. We do, we have the Patreon and we do a watch along. We do the watch alongs, which shockingly has become very successful. I always find it interesting. Like we're watching a pay-per-view, but we're just fucking around essentially the whole time and having a couple of drinks. And it's that voyeurism aspect that people are very interested in, to see how people interact outside of the bubble, outside of doing a show. Right. It's interesting sometimes what you connect with and what you don't, because we've done stuff that we thought was going to bat 1,000 and we swung and we missed every time.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. We're also doing like this thing called Boozing with the Boys on our Patreon. So that's like the top level, where every 2 weeks we just turn on the cameras, the three of us, we get everybody in there, and we just start drinking and talking shit, So I mean, that's been cool. Some people have really enjoyed it. There's been some people that think it's fun, like you said, the voyeurism aspect, and they're enjoying us like drinking and talking shit live in front of them and taking people's questions and stuff. And then there's some people who are like, oh, I logged in on there it's just a bunch of drunk assholes, like not for me. And then they never came back. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of, you know, so I think it's important that we give a little bit, you know, a little bit of everything to, you know, to our audience, you know. So some people are going to be into that, some people aren't. So I think the video aspect is gonna probably bring us to another level when we get on it, you know.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. So I'm gonna present a Q&A. If you guys are in the chat room, you want to ask Rocky a question here on YouTube, you can post it in the chat, and I will ask the question to Rocky, and hopefully he could help you answer what you guys are asking. A lot of people are excited about Nagata and Suzuki. I'm seeing a lot of conversation about that. I forgot that was happening, and I'm very excited again. I got very happy when I saw it in the chat that somebody posted it. What is it? You know, one of my questions is, you know, these guys are legendary names, right? And you've worked with so many of them. Who's been the guy for you that you worked with and you said, my God, this was awesome?
I mean, I feel like there's a lot of those guys. Wow. I guess more recently I can say that this is just kind of somebody who comes to mind was when I worked Rey Mysterio. I just worked him on a little small show in San Diego a couple of years ago, and I always wanted to wrestle Rey. I mean, like, Rey was obviously a huge, you know, person I looked up to and kind of paved the way for a guy like me who's 5'6", you know. And I don't know, like that. When I got in there, started rolling around with him, I was like, oh yeah, this is cool. And damn, this dude's
was it
awesome.
A reaction of, my God, he's as good as I thought he was? Is it that kind of feel like he's? Because I've heard from other people that have worked with him that say he's, you know, sometimes TV doesn't do it justice. Seeing him live doesn't. Once you're in the ring with that person, it's like, holy moly, I mean, this guy's so good.
I mean, you know that he's good, though. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I guess, you know what? I guess it was, you know, really in my mind, I was kind of thinking like, oh shit, I got to make sure that I'm on the level. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, like, you know, so I think I kind of went in there, like, with something to prove to him, maybe a little bit, and be like, oh, hey, don't worry, I'm on your level type thing.
Yeah, don't sleep on me. I got it.
Yeah, don't sleep on me. I'm on your level. You know, so like, there was a lot of like improv stuff that we did, kind of on the fly, and I think that's kind of how he respected it a little bit, and we became pretty cool after. So, I think that that's kind of the way. I don't know. It was like I don't know. It's like a weird thing of trying to compete with your idols in a way, you know? But like, listen, not really compete. Yeah.
And what a great,
like,
what a great
just
moment.
Show them what's up, you know? Yeah, exactly.
So some of these questions I'm gonna present. If you can answer them, answer them. If you can't, you can't. Obviously, I don't want to pressure you into saying anything.
If you don't want to.
Yeah, if you don't want to. I'm just saying. I don't want to. It's not a gotcha we're doing here. We're not doing a gotcha. Work Shoot Wrestling Podcast in the chat room says, do you have to get permission from New Japan to work for the skits on Being the Elite?
No. I haven't been on one in a while, but back in the day, no.
Okay. I was thinking, when was the last time you were on? I guess they were still working with Japan at that time.
Yeah, maybe like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah. Is there any chance that we'll see Impact and New Japan ever work together again? This is from Steven in the chat.
Never say never. You know, I think definitely a lot of things in the world have changed, you know, especially with the current times and situation. Never say never. Never say never.
I got another one here on Facebook. Rocky, what is your opinion of AEW at this moment with their current product?
I'm a fan. You know, I watched it. I watched last week's show, I think it was, and I really enjoyed it.
Last week was a great show. Yeah.
Yeah, last week was it last? Either last week or the week before, where Jericho was out there, he was cutting the promo, and the OJ got spilled on him. He ruined his jacket. I mean, there was some awesome stuff. Jericho's is my favorite on there. I think he's just amazing.
What a great story his career has turned into, right? I mean, obviously, this guy faced people told me he wasn't big enough. He wasn't a promo guy, and then he reinvented himself over and over again. And
like 30 times.
30 times. And now, you look at him, and it's amazing to consider to say this, but he has elevated himself. And after leaving WWE, we're talking about, with Japan, New Japan, and AEW, he is in that flair category as far as a top guy, a veteran that's able to, elevate other talent, younger talent. What he's been
and
able
doesn't
to do.
lose anything on the way either.
Yeah, and he doesn't lose anything on the way. Him losing or him looking like an idiot only helps the character and the momentum he has. That's amazing to see, because I don't think people 5 years ago would have thought that this Chris Jericho could exist, this version of him. I find that to be so interesting when you look back and you say, okay, he even WWE, the last run he had with the list, it was brilliant, what he was doing, and only he could deliver what he was doing. And it's interesting to see, the constant change in his personality to stay fresh. That's great.
Yeah, when we all go back and like whatever 10, 15 years from now, and we look at the body of work that Chris Jericho did, we're all gonna be like, holy shit, Jericho is probably top 5 of all time, maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like when you're gonna truly look back at it and do like a retrospective of it, it's gonna be like, yeah, okay, yeah, he's way up there, way higher than probably people think he should be. Like he needs to be like at the very top.
Rocky, I got a question for you. What was maybe yours or the internal New Japan reaction to DDT and Noah merging? Was it more of a, all right, guys, bring it on, like we need competition, or like how do you feel about that?
Personally, I mean, I think good for them. I think they're still gonna like be separate entities, right? Like they're going to be promoted different promotions, but they're bringing the back ends together. Is that what it is? Something like that.
Apparently,
I don't really completely understand. Yeah.
It's like
I think it's
united
cool.
but separate kind of thing.
Gotcha. But no, I think it's good. I mean, whatever help. Look, there's right now in Japan, it's still, even though they have shows with fans, I mean, 1/3 capacity, it's difficult. So I think whatever helps the products, and whatever helps, more importantly, the wrestlers and the staff who are putting on the shows and competing in the events, that they if it helps them in any kind of way, or it's beneficial to them, whether it be financially or whatever, then I think I'm for it. I think it's been a really tough year for a lot of wrestlers and a lot of people. And, if this means better for DDT and better for Noah, I mean, I got a lot of friends that are in both companies. I'm all for it, but like when you compare it to New Japan, I think they're just all different products, they really just really are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. Guys, Talking Shop a Mania. 2 days away from it this Saturday. Yeah, 2 days. Saturday. Yeah, today's Thursday. I keep forgetting what day we're
Today's Thursday, yeah.
I've lost all track of life at this point. I have
I
no
woke
idea
up,
what day
I thought
it is.
it was Friday too. I was like, oh no, this pay-per-view's tomorrow. It's
I
9
have no
a.m.
idea.
What am I doing right now?
2 days away this Friday, August 1st at 9 p.m. East. You could buy it on fight.tv, FITE.tv. Also, subscribe to Talking Shop. Patreon. What's the Patreon link? I don't have that on hand.
It's patreon.com/talkinshop, TALKNSHOP.
Excellent. Rocky, always a pleasure having you on, obviously. Anything else going on that I missed here? It's love to have you on again soon.
Every Friday night, we just concluded the Lions Break Collision series on New Japan World. There's a big, huge press conference and announcement coming this Friday night in its spot, and it's basically the future of what's going on for that time slot. Time slot. I can't talk. It's too early. And it's new. If you've seen last week's show, it all pertains to New Japan Strong. So we'll all find out what that is tomorrow night.
Excellent. Next time we'll have you on a little later.
Yeah,
we'll
that'd be
delay it a
awesome.
little bit. I threw the time and I
That'd be
forgot. I
awesome.
forgot you're on the West Coast, and I was like, "Ah, shit!
Yeah.
I'm waking him up." Because originally, I think Rich, you said, "Oh, let's have him on at 11." I was like, I'm like, "Oh, I'm like, actually, let's do 12. Let's do the time." And then I remembered you're in California, so we'll delay it next time, man. Guys, check it out. Rocky does a great job with those guys. Always love to support it. Check out the pay-per-view again on Fight.tv this coming Saturday. Is the main event Chad Too Bad and Sex Ferguson? Is that the main event?
Yeah, Chad Too Bad, Sex Ferguson, Boneyard match.
In a boner, yeah.
So
Listen, I hope there's some Blue Chew involved. That's all I'm saying. That's all. I have not seen anything. That would have been the best product placement.
Yeah, I mean, that was the plan. Yeah.
That was. Listen,
but I promise you, it's going to be the wildest, craziest pay-per-view you've ever seen. If you're already a fan of Talking Shop, the podcast, it's just bigger and better and crazier. And we basically got all our friends to show up, so it's pretty cool.
Love it. Love everything about it. Guys, that's it for this week. Follow Rocky on Twitter. Follow Rocky everywhere. We'll have posts on the website to sign up for Fight.tv and sign up for the pay-per-view and Talking Shop and everything else. From Rich and myself. We'll see you all next time. Take care.
Thanks, guys.
That was awesome.
Thanks, Rocky.
Rocky, thanks so much.
Cool. Thank you.
I'm going to get this out. I'm going to get this out as early as possible so there's some time to kind of promote the podcast, promote the pay-per-view. Okay. Also, if you have any questions about the video doing live, shoot me a message.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, do you do everything right there?
I do everything right here. Yep.
Wow.
Everything is done right here. We got the production machine is here. Rich is a couple blocks away, about a quarter of a mile away from my house right now in his house. Awesome. We grew up together, so he's at his house. I'm here, but normally he's in the studio. So we do we could do 4 different cameras in the studio, and then we could have I think up to 6 or 8 guests when we do the shows. It's become little piece by piece. It's become a full-fledged studio at this point, which in my living room, which is hysterical.
Plus we got your living room.
No, I mean this was my office. My living room is that way, but it's essentially, it was a den at one point that we converted over. Yeah, it's I love doing it. Love talking about wrestling. Awesome. And
you got a good wife then.
Definitely I got a great wife, man. I got a great wife. And
so that's make a studio.
Oh my god. Oh my. It's when I quit my job in 2009, and I said I'm never going back to work, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do podcasts. And she looked at me and she's like, "All right, if you think you could." And then luckily for us, within 60 days, we were able to kind of make some money off of it. We were able to do well. But we started really early with it. But I ended up. It took me. When did I go to? I have a consulting company for marketing and things like that and business strategy. But this was my main bread and butter till about 2017 until I went to work. And that's been
you got an offer. You got an offer you couldn't refuse too.
And, you want to talk about a carny job? I'm running a strip club, so.
Right, you got a retirement for it. Huh?
Yeah. I came out of retirement to run a strip club. So it's an interesting world we are in.
Yeah, it's
between
wild.
Wrestling and nightclubs and
yeah, and you guys are in New York, right?
We're in New York, yeah. We're in
damn, so you guys went through it in the beginning of this thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we sucked. It's fun, right, but yeah, I know. But you know what? People got it. People got it, and some people, a lot of my friends didn't get it, and a lot of my friends did get it, and everybody had a different reaction. It's wild.
I know. That's what the craziest thing is. Like some people are just completely fine, no symptoms, nothing. And some people are like completely fucked. It's terrible. Yeah, it's so wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. But shoot me an email, man. Dude. Shoot me an email, whatever. If you guys need some help with something, if I could help you in some way, let me know.
Definitely, I'll have to connect you with our producer Emilio. He's the guy, but he gets everything done, but I'm sure he's always trying to figure out how to do it right and like do it. But I'll have him take a look at this product so he can see and maybe get some ideas and then connect us all.
Yeah, it's a great piece of software that we use to do it, and everything is built in. Right now, like we have a producer. In in Michigan that what he does. So some of the shows like this one I produce because it's easy. Because I'm just switching. You know, I use this thing to switch the buttons. Well, it wasn't on me. I use this thing to switch and everything. But he does one show, for example, that has 6 different guests, all in remote locations, with video elements and image elements and all this stuff. It's a very complicated show. It's a show about radio technology. It's a very niche product. And it has a lot of moving parts. So he does everything. He remotes into this computer from Michigan and produces it as if I had him in here, which is wild.
That's crazy.
Everything's gotten so much easier, dude. So much easier.
Yeah.
Wild.
Wow. That's sick.
Yeah, man. Awesome.
All right, cool. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.
Man. Thanks so much for coming on.
Have a good rest of your day. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. Yeah, nice to see you too.
Awesome.
Take care.
Awesome. Rocky Romero, everybody. That was awesome. Great guy. Great. Always fun to have on. I definitely want to have him on again. And we're going to be doing more guests. I stopped recording. We're still streaming. But Rich and I have been talking about having more guests coming on. And, you know, this is always a great interview. And he gives you... Sometimes, you know, there's a magic to interviewing. I think Rich knows this because you did a radio show in college. And when you're sitting there and you're talking to someone, sometimes you could connect with somebody. And other times you're like, oh my God, I'm not getting anything.
Yeah.
We've had that.
I like it when Rocky comes on. No pretense with Rocky at all. Yeah. I think that's the best part. Like, we've talked to dudes that it's just like all pretense, and both of us are kind of like, well, this is going nowhere.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. I'm like, I'm looking at the time. I'm like, Rich, we got to wrap it up. You know? All right, dudes. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll have this podcast available as soon as possible, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Later.
All right, that was